everyone, Pratima here. So if you look at the overall mobile market, there still are like 25 to 30% of the users who still use an old feature phone and they aspire to get an affordable smartphone for watching movies, IPL, video calling, WhatsApp messaging, etc. And I think Xiaomi has just made the dream phone for them. This is the Redmi A5, which I got for just 6,500 rupees in India, and I think it's the best cheap smartphone that you can buy right now. I have been testing this phone for about 2 days now, and honestly, I am impressed by how good this phone is. First off, we get all kinds of things inside the box. We have the phone, a 15-watt power brick, a Type A to Type C cable, a generic case, and a SIM ejector tool. Okay, so the best thing about the Redmi A5 is its display. Here, you're getting a huge 6.88 inches 120Hz IPS LCD screen, and for a budget phone, it is not bad at all. The colors look good enough, and this display is bright too. At least in indoor situations, you're not going to have a problem. Even outdoors under the shade, the visibility is not bad, but in bright sunny conditions, it's a bit difficult to make out what's on the screen. But I love how even though this phone has an HD screen, there is no pixelation in the UI elements, and even while watching videos, you will not notice that lack of sharpness, especially on YouTube. The single speaker on the Redmi A5 is decently loud for watching videos and all too. On OTT platforms like Netflix though, there is no HD video playback support, so sometimes things might look a little dull. Anyway, I also found a little catch with the 120Hz refresh rate here. Turns out the 120Hz refresh rate is only limited to the settings menu, and everything else including social media apps, browser, UI, etc. run on 90Hz. But the 90Hz refresh rate here is smooth enough, so I won't complain. I also really like the design of this phone. Just look at it. It does not feel like a budget phone at all, especially when you hold it in your hands. Obviously, it's made entirely of plastic, but the build quality here is sturdy, and you also get a couple of cool color options too. So I would say that for a budget phone, Redmi has actually aced the design side of things here. And by the way, you're also getting a side-mounted fingerprint sensor that works instantaneously, and there is a headphone jack here as well. Also, I don't know how relevant this is in 2025, but you can access FM radio from here using a wired earphone, and I just think it's really cool. The battery on the Redmi A5 did not disappoint me either, thanks to its 5200 mAh cell, its low-power processor, and the HD display. On light usage, this phone would last me for almost a day and a half, even on intensive use, so that's really nice. And since you get a 15-watt charger inside the box, you don't have to worry about getting a charger separately. The stock charger takes anywhere between 2 to 2.5 hours to fully charge this phone, which I know is a long wait, but then again, considering the price, it's not so bad. Okay, so up until now, we've talked about all the great things about the Redmi A5. But when you get a budget phone, there are certain things that you have to compromise on, like the performance and the cameras. Like if you're someone who likes to play games like PUBG, the Unisoc T720 4G chipset on the Redmi A5 is not going to be able to handle it, especially the 3GB RAM variant. In my experience, the most I have been able to do here is play Clash of Clans, Subway Surfer, Temple Run, etc. smoothly, but something like PUBG is a big no. I had no problem running everyday apps here like Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, etc. Though it's just that with this phone, you will have to get used to a second of delay while opening apps and while multitasking between 3 to 4 apps at once. I do appreciate the fact that Redmi has gone with the lighter Go version of Android on top of HyperOS here, which means Redmi has cut off on the heavy system animation. So going about the UI does not feel as slow. And on top of that, Redmi has promised 2 years of OS updates on this budget phone. In fact, I have received one of the system updates while I was testing it, so that's a good sign. Next, just like the performance, the cameras on the Redmi A5 are strictly average too. You get a 32 megapixel main camera sensor, an auxiliary lens at the back, and an 8 megapixel sensor on the front. And here are some samples I took from this phone. You can see that the images are a little soft and the color reproduction is just okay, nothing extra. I appreciate that Redmi A5 is able to handle highlights and dynamic range in bright situations quite well, and in good lighting conditions, it takes good enough pictures of human subjects too, but again, it's nothing wow, it's just decent. At night too, you can take some decent images with this phone. Turns out there is a night mode option too, but it barely does anything to make the image better, so it's not that useful. You can shoot good enough 1080p videos from this phone though. The footage is shaky when you move around, but if you keep still, the output is not half bad. Overall, I feel like the cameras on this phone are only good enough to take pictures of notes and for doing some basic video calls, and that's it. To conclude, I think the Redmi A5 is the game changer in making smartphones accessible to people with limited budgets. So yeah, if your budget is really tight and if your usage is not intensive and all you do on your phone is use social media and make phone calls, this phone is the best option. Even for someone who's thinking of upgrading from a bar phone, or if you're in need of a budget secondary phone with great battery, this phone is worth it for the price. Just remember to get the 4GB variant, it will be slightly faster. But one thing to understand is the limitation of a starter budget phone like this is longevity. Because such phones have a weak processor, budget phones slow down easily and might become unusable after like 1 or 1.5 years. So if you're planning to use a certain phone for a long time, it's better to invest a little more money and get a phone above of 10,000 rupees. Alright everybody, that was all for our unboxing and short review of the Redmi A5. What do you think about this phone? Do let me know in the comments below. And while you're there, please do subscribe to our channel and hit the like button if you like this video. Saying this, I'm Pratima and thank you so much for watching.